Hey everyone, welcome back to the Awards Gambit. I'm super excited to talk more about awards predictions with you. Today we're going to be continuing our 2023 Emmy nomination predictions with our comedy categories. Last week we did drama, so this week we're moving on to comedy. Today is June 30th, which means we are about 2 weeks away from Emmy nomination morning on July 12th. So super exciting. We're in the home stretch. And before we get started on these predictions, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm just getting started up again, so I'm really happy that you guys are here watching this, and I appreciate your support. And I love you guys. Love my fans. So, why don't we go ahead and get started with these predictions? First up, we're going to start with the comedy series category. This category will have 8 nominations. And in first place this year, I have our reigning champion, Ted Lasso. It won last year and it won the year before. And this is most likely its final season. They didn't make any announcement yet that it's officially the last season, but I think it is. And I just have a feeling it's going to win again just because, it's Ted Lasso and it's the final season. I mean, I like Ted Lasso, don't get me wrong. I would like to see some other shows win. But for now, I have that as number one. I think it'll definitely get nominated and it'll probably win. But we'll see. In second place, I have Abbott Elementary. Abbott Elementary is on ABC. And it's one of the biggest network comedies since like Modern Family, I feel like. So last year it won 2 Emmys. It won for writing for the pilot. Quinta Brunson took home that award. And it won for Best Supporting Actress for Cheryl Lee Ralph. And it's gotten a lot of nominations and wins at the Winter Awards since. And season 2 is just as watched, if not more watched, than season 1. So I think it'll definitely get in. I think it's one of the shows that could beat Ted Lasso if it gets there. So yeah. In third place, I have The Bear. So The Bear season 1 is what's eligible for the Emmys this year. The Bear season 1 came out last June. And right now, The Bear season 2 is airing. So I think The Bear season 2 airing right now will help The Bear season 1 at the Emmys. It was a really good show. Honestly, more dramatic than comedic, but nonetheless a great show. Everyone who watched it loved it. And I feel like this is another one that could beat Ted Lasso. I feel like it's between The Bear, Abbott Elementary, and Ted Lasso. They're all three definitely going to get nominated for sure. In fourth place, I have Barry. This is the 4th and final season of Barry, so I think they're definitely going to give it that goodbye nomination sort of thing. I mean, it's gotten in every other year. It's been eligible for nominations, and I'm not sure if that many people really watched Barry, but I think the Emmy voters definitely watched it to see how it would end, and for that reason, I think that it will get in for sure. In fifth place, I have Only Murders in the Building. Only Murders in the Building got into comedy series last year for season 1 that came out in 2021. And so now we're looking at season 2 that came out last summer. And it was well received. Probably wasn't as popular as the first season, but I still think it's enough to crack into comedy series. And season 3 will be premiering in August. So that will only help its chances in the categories it will be nominated in. In sixth place, I have The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, the 5th and final season. It ended on a pretty good note. I think fans of the show really liked it. It is also a previous winner in this category. It won in 2018 for the first season, and it's gotten in, I think, every other time it's been eligible. So I think this will definitely get in for the last time. In seventh place, I have Wednesday, Netflix show about Wednesday Addams from the Addams Family. I just remember when this came out a few months ago, everybody was talking about it. It was like the show to watch on Netflix, and for that reason, I think it's gonna get in. And also, it is the only Netflix show that I have getting into the lineup, and I feel like Netflix always makes it in to every like series category. So I think it's gonna get in. And in last place in my comedy series predictions, I have What We Do in the Shadows. What We Do in the Shadows got in once before, maybe twice before. It's always done well in the writing categories, and it is a funny show. People who watch that show love it, say it's hilarious. I personally have never seen it, but I've heard good things. And so I think that will take the last spot. I just want to talk about some spoilers that could sneak into this category. One of the spoilers I have is the other two. I am just catching up on the other two, and it's so funny, it's so iconic, it's culty, it's about the entertainment industry, so that always helps with these kind of shows. And they just announced that the season that's eligible, season 3, is the last season. So, well, I think actually it's like cut in half. Like, only half the season's eligible, so the other half will be eligible next year. I'm not really sure how that works, but I would still think it could sneak in. I would like to see it sneak in. Another honorable mention that I have that could get in is Shrinking. That is a Apple TV Plus original comedy with Jason Segel and Harrison Ford, and it's about a bunch of therapists. And I think that it was very well received, and that could also get in. And my last honorable mention that I will briefly talk about is Jury Duty. Now, Jury Duty is quite a fascinating show. It's about a fake trial, but one of the jurors thinks it's a real trial. So it's a very interesting concept. It was quite hilarious. Everybody was talking about it when it came out. And that I feel like might have enough support to kind of just sneak in, and that would be awesome to see that show get in. So yeah, those are my predictions for comedy series. Up next, I want to talk about comedy actor. So for this category, there's only 5 slots. Last year there were 6 slots. And for drama this year there are 6 slots, but they do the number of nominations based on how many submissions there are. So there weren't as many comedy submissions as there were dramedy for the acting categories. So unfortunately there's only 5. So in first place for comedy actor, I have Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. He won the Golden Globe, the Critics' Choice, and the SAG Award for Comedy Lead Actor. Ted Lasso was not eligible in the Winter Awards, so he didn't have to face off against Jason Sudeikis, but everyone can agree that Jeremy Allen White is so good in The Bear, and it would be so great to see him up there collecting that Emmy statuette. And I think he will win. I would love to see him win, but he'll for sure get nominated. In second place, I have Jason Sudeikis for Ted Lasso. He is the reigning champion in this category. He also won in 2021. So we won for seasons 1 and 2, and this is the third and his final season. So in that way he could win, but season 3 of Ted Lasso, I don't feel like it was as buzzy, as well received as seasons 1 and 2, maybe because it took so long for it to come out. But I mean, they could just like give it to him because it's the last season and they love him, obviously. But he'll definitely get in for sure. In third place, I have Bill Hader for Barry. Final season of Barry. Spoiler alert, if you have not seen it, he dies at the end. And I feel like the way they wrapped it up was really good. And he won for seasons 1 and 2 back in 2018 and 2019. And he was nominated last year. So he'll get in. In fourth place, I have Steve Martin for Only Murders in the Building. He's also a producer and co-writer and co-creator of the show. So they love the auteurs. And he got in last year. And he's a comedy legend, so I have no doubt that he will get in. And fifth place, I have Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building. He is another comedy legend. He got in last year. He's a producer on the show. And he is hilarious. Definitely more out there than, and more flamboyant than Steve Martin, which only helps in, when it comes to awards. So, yeah, I think they'll both get in. They're kind of a package deal at this point. And just, they're both deserving, so. Those are my top 5 for comedy actor. I want to talk about a few actors who could spoil this race. I have Jason Segel for Shrinking in my spoilers. Like I said, Shrinking was a well-received comedy on Apple TV Plus. Jason Segel has been around forever, and he's never gotten much love from the Emmys. I don't think he's ever been nominated, so his time's got to come soon. So maybe he'll get in. Another spoiler I have is Donald Glover for Atlanta, previous winner in this category back in 2017. He's gotten in most times since, I think every other time since, so he could get back in. And my last spoiler is Nicholas Hoult for The Great. He was nominated last year. And spoiler alert, if you have not seen The Great, he dies in The Great. And so this would be his last chance to get nominated. So, those are my predictions for Best Comedy Actor. Up next, we're going to talk about Best Comedy Actress. In first place, I have Quinta Brunson for Abbott Elementary. She was nominated last year. She is the creator of Abbott Elementary, and she writes and produces it. And she won the Golden Globe, and she doesn't have to face off with Jean Smart for Hacks, previous winner from last year and the year before. So I think Quinta is definitely in first place. For now, I think she'll definitely get nominated. In second place, I have Rachel Brosnahan for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. She won for the first season of the show in 2018, and now this is the last season. She has gotten nominated for every other season. I think fans of the show really like how Midge ended up in the flash forward. I think they were really satisfied with the ending. And so I think she can get in. I think she could even win. In third place, I have Christina Applegate for Dead to Me. This was the final season of Dead to Me. She got in for seasons 1 and 2. And for those of you who don't know, Christina Applegate was diagnosed with MS back in 2021. And since then, because of her illness, she hasn't really been able to act. They made a lot of accommodations for Dead to Me season 3. And she did a really great job in it. It's a really funny show. So this would be kind of a sentimental pick, and honestly, I would be so happy if she won. So deserving, and it would be like her last, it's probably her last acting role. She said that a few times, so I think that would be really special if she won. I think she'll get nominated. In fourth place, I have Jenna Ortega for Wednesday. Like I said about Wednesday, was the show that everybody was talking about, specifically her. She's the lead. They always like to nominate these young actresses, and I think she's a safe bet. In my last spot, in fifth place, I have Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building. I think last year people were pretty upset when she didn't get nominated. And so, even though there's one less spot this year, I think that they're going to right their wrong and put her in this year. She's so good in the show. Her and her chemistry with Martin Short and Steve Martin, it's so good. People will be talking about her, so that's good. So, those are my top five. I have a few spoilers that I will mention. One of these spoilers is Elle Fanning for The Great. She had a really good season for season 3 of The Great. She got in last year. So yeah, maybe she'll pop in. Another honorable mention I have is Natasha Lyonne for Poker Face. Poker Face is a really cool show on Peacock for those of you who haven't checked it out. It's by Rian Johnson, the writer-director of Knives Out. And it's sort of similar to Knives Out in that there's a different murder mystery in each episode. And Natasha Lyonne's character is sort of trying to solve all of these mysteries. And so she's gotten into this category for Russian Doll. And so it'd be really cool to see that get nominated. I think a big barrier for this is Peacock. Peacock has never really done well at the Emmys, so maybe this will be the thing that gets Peacock through. Hopefully. And my last spoiler that I want to talk about is Linda Cardellini for Dead to Me. She got in for season 2, and her arc on season 3, Judy's arc, was really good. Just want to say another spoiler coming if you haven't watched Dead to Me. She gets diagnosed with cancer, and in the end, she dies. And so I think that whole arc was just sort of really well done, well written, and I love Linda Cardellini. She's an amazing actress. She's been around forever. So it'd be great to see her get in. Those are my predictions for Best Lead Actress in a Comedy Series. Up next is Best Comedy Supporting Actor. In first place, I have Brett Goldstein for Ted Lasso. Reigning champion in this category. He also won 2 years ago. And he was just as good as Roy Kent in the season 3. So I feel like maybe they will just give it to him again, but he will definitely get in. Second place, I have Anthony Carrigan for Barry. He got nominated last year and for season 2. And NoHo Hank's story arc is so amazing, devastating, heartbreaking, also beautiful all at the same time. And he's so good in that role. And if it wasn't for Brett Goldstein, I would say I would have him in first place. But, oh man, it'd be so great to see him win. But, yeah, you can count on him to get that nomination. In third place, I have Tyler James Williams for Abbott Elementary. He got in last year, and he won the Golden Globe for supporting actor. So he'll definitely get in again this year, I think. In fourth place, I have Henry Winkler for Barry. He is a previous winner in this category for season 1 of Barry in 2018. He's gotten in every other time since, and he's a beloved actor. He also had some good material on season 4 of Barry, especially towards the end. Some crazy twists and turns that happen in the end. In fifth place, I have Evan Moss-Bacharach for The Bear. He is so good in The Bear. He's quite loud, quite showy. Emmys love that. And he has a really good, relationship. It's not the best relationship on screen, but he has really good chemistry with um, Jeremy Allen White, and their scenes together are so good. His scenes with Ao Edebiri are really good. And I think, especially with The Bear season 2 coming out now, I think he'll get in. In sixth place, I have Tony Shalhoub for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Final season, he has gotten in every season, and he won for season 2 in 2019. And I think he'll get in. In my last spot for comedy supporting actor, in seventh place, I have Harrison Ford for Shrinking. I've heard nothing but good things about him on that show. He's such a beloved actor, still working into his 80s, and who would not want to see him get nominated? Everybody would want to honor him. So, those are my top 7. I want to talk about some spoilers for this category. First spoiler I have is Phil Dunster for Ted Lasso. He plays Jamie Tart. He's one of the only supporting actors in the show who hasn't gotten nominated yet. And he's so good as Jamie Tart, especially in season 3. He has a lot of good material with Brett Goldstein. So it'd be really cool if he got in for the first and last time. Another spoiler I have is Chris Perfetti for Abbott Elementary. I feel like he can kind of be a coattail nomination if they really go hard for Abbott Elementary. Yeah, I think it would be great to see him nominated. And my last honorable mention that I would like to put in here for Best Supporting Actor is James Marsden for Jury Duty. He was so funny on that show, and he plays like an alternate version of himself, and he has never gotten nominated at the Emmys before, and he's been around for a long time doing great work. He's also on the ballot for Dead to Me, but yeah, it'd be great to see him get in. So those are my predictions for Best Comedy Supporting Actor. The last category I want to go over today is Best Comedy Supporting Actress. In first place, I have Cheryl Lee Ralph for Abbott Elementary. Cheryl Lee Ralph is so good on the show. She's so funny, she's so witty, and she won last year, so that's why I have her at number 1. You can count on that nomination and maybe even the win. In second place, I have Hannah Waddingham for Ted Lasso. Final season of Ted Lasso. Rebecca always has great material on the show. She won in 2021, and she got in last year, so she'll get in again this year. In third place, I have Janelle James for Abbott Elementary. Janelle James is, in my opinion, the funniest in Abbott Elementary. She plays Ava, the principal, and Ava, just every single episode has these hilarious one-liners. You can't help but laugh at her in the principal role, and it'd be awesome to see her in here again. She got in last year. It'd be great to see her win. In fourth place, I have Ao Edebiri for The Bear. I'm not sure if I was pronouncing her name right, but she was so good on that show. Her and Jeremy Allen White have great chemistry. She's been in so many things since she's been in The Bear. And she played Quinta Brunson's sister in Abbott Elementary. And she's been in a few movies. She's going to be in a few movies this summer. But yeah, she's so good, and it'd be great to see her get nominated and maybe even win. In fifth place, I have Alex Borstein for The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Alex Borstein won for seasons 1 and 2 of the show back in 2018 and 2019. She has been as good ever since, and she'll get in for the final season. She's such a funny actress. ever since her days as Miss Ungermeyer in the Lizzie McGuire movie, for those of you who are familiar. In sixth place, I have Sarah Goldberg for Barry. She got in for season 2. She did not get in last year, which was an egregious snub. If you had asked me before nominations came out last year, I would have said she was winning Best Supporting Actress in a Comedy Series. And she's just as good in season 4, and she better get in. She's so good on that show, and she's essentially the female lead. So, my last spot for Best Supporting Actress, seventh place, I have Lisa Ann Walter for Abbott Elementary. She could also be a coattail nomination for the show, but she's also deserving. She's so funny. She's got this like broad, strong Italian woman vibe going for her, and it really works. She has some great material with her sister on the show. And she's such a great actress. I feel like most people probably know her from The Parent Trap. She played Chessie. She's so great. She's so charismatic. I love her. So those are my top 7. I want to talk about a few spoilers in this category. One spoiler I have is Molly Shannon for the other 2. She has been so good on the show since it premiered in 2019, and now in season 3, she's still so good, and it'd be great to see her finally get recognized for this role. Another honorable mention I'll talk about is Cecily Strong for Saturday Night Live. This was her final season. She's gotten in before, and this could be a nice little farewell nomination for her. And last honorable mention I'll talk about is Juno Temple for Ted Lasso. She got nominated the past 2 seasons. The reason I don't have her this year is because, like I said, I just feel like season 3 wasn't as buzzed about. And I feel like she just might get cut out by the other competition. But maybe she will get in because they love Ted Lasso. We'll see. And that is a wrap on the 2023 Emmy nomination predictions for comedy categories. Please let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like this video. Check out my other videos. Subscribe. It'd be really helping me out. I do it for you guys. I do it for the fans. I'm really into these award predictions, and it's nice to be able to connect with other award aficionados too. So, thanks so much for watching. Again, like, comment, subscribe. And like I said last week, you can also email some listener questions that I plan to address and answer in future videos about the Emmys. You can email them to awardsgambit@gmail.com. And yeah, next week we're going to talk about limited series or anthology series and TV movie categories. So stay tuned for that next week, and I'll catch you next time on the Awards Gambit. Have a good one.